Today we have Riley from Inside Out 2, except I'm doing it with a twist as 4 different emotions. Let's get started with joy. Now I know a lot of you must be thinking, hey, there's 9 emotions, why are there only 4? Well, these are the 4 that I thought would actually work best for the piece. And considering I've already done anxiety and envy, I wanted to change it up and do something a little bit different and still integrate a lot of the older characters that you've seen before. When I'm drawing these characters, I try to focus on how I can encapsulate both Riley and the emotion in the same piece. So it's going to be a little bit of joy and a little bit of Riley, a little bit of disgust and a little bit of Riley, etc., etc. Because I want them to feel like they're both the same character and melded together, because they are melded together. They are one and the same. A quick tip for those that might have a little bit of problem doing hair: work in layers. I like to work from the very lights to the very darks. Think of everything in little patches. Don't just scribble randomly and hope for the best. Work in layers of dark to light or light to dark, whatever works for you. For me, like I said, it works easier to do the light to the dark. And then I like to throw my highlights on top on the back end, and then throw my really rich darks at the end. Part 2 is next, and now we've got Disgust. And I actually don't see a lot of people that have done Disgust in any form, whether it's just a regular doodle, cartoon, across YouTube, so I really wanted to give her her moment to shine. If you haven't seen my anxiety or my envy drawing, I'll leave a link in the comment below. Also, let me know your favorite emotion, and if you've seen the second movie. Personally, my favorite is sadness. I mean, just look at her. She's sadness. And as someone who had always reflected and had issues with depression growing up, I can totally understand how people can see a lot of themselves in that character. Before we head over to the third character, I need you to do me a big favor. If you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. It lets the algorithm know that you really love the content, and it makes me just feel absolutely fantastic to know that you've loved the content so much to comment, like, and subscribe. It really does make a difference, and I read every comment and I answer every comment that comes into my channel. If you take the time to comment, I'm going to take the time to answer you back. Next up is Anger, and though he might not be my favorite, I think as people get older, they become more relatable to Anger. There's always that one time when you just want to let out that guttural, cathartic scream and just let out all that emotion, and I think to me that's what Anger really represents. Not to mention that he is also played by one of my favorite comedians, Lewis Black, and if you haven't seen him, you really should, if you're of a certain age, because a lot of this content is designed for adults. It's not designed for kids. When I was doing the coloring for Anger, I really wanted to almost give it a flame texture. I know that he has a lot more softer features in the movies, and only his hair is really ablaze, but I wanted to actually make that look more like her face was on fire as she's making that grr face. So I really wanted that to transition and not just look like a big red blob. And now we are about to go to my favorite character, and that is Sadness. One of my favorite aspects about Sadness, and it's probably why I love her the most, is that she feels the most genuine. Now, I know that might be counterintuitive because these are all emotions, but Sadness really comes across as the most realistic representation. Like, Joy seems to be a Pollyanna. Everything's great until they're not, but she doesn't know how to deal with that. But Sadness, maybe it's just because I connect with that kind of characterization, but to me, she seems the most real. If you were to see Sadness anywhere else, You would know it, you would feel it. She simply is, but on a much more profound level. Now, I know this might be delving a little bit deeply into the characterizations how these characters are written, but that's also just how my brain works. As a writer, too, I like to think about how characters are written and portrayed, and not just the artistic stylizations that are given in a movie. I really love how this movie was written. I love how a lot of the Pixar movies have been written, because there's subtleties that younger kids might not know, but adults will be like, I understand. And then as you rewatch them when you're older, you'll totally understand. Like when you go back and watch Toy Story, there'll be things that you just didn't know as a kid. And that just about wraps this video up. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Let me know which character you like the most, and I'll see you all in the next video.